Hi, everybody. If you have stumbled across me, you have found the Multiverse fundraiser put on by the Phoenix's Entertainment Group. Whole bunch of nerdy podcasters here ready to raise money for comic books for kids. That's our charity. We should have a link somewhere around here that will scroll across. Let me get that started. I forgot to have that going. And I've got a dog licking my hand. I apologize. But today I get the opportunity to interview someone who in the last year has become, I consider, a very close friend. Y'all have probably seen him most famously currently as the Mariner Ghost in the Haunted Mansion movie. I am going to bring in Mr. Creek Wilson. Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
We're making it. Making it. I think that's the vibe for 2025 already. The vibe. But thank you again, like I said, a million times in messages and off screen. Thank you so much for doing this. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to the founder of Comic Books for Kids to have people whose faces are recognizable to help us out here.
Well, I'm honored to be asked to be on the podcast.
Well, you are, I tell everybody, I was like, he plays a lot of bad guys, but, most of those are usually played by the nicest people.
Don't tell nobody. I got a reputation to uphold.
Well, anybody that watches now or watches later is about to find out. He's like a little kitten, y'all. Everybody just, we can't say more good things. I tell everybody I'm here to inflate your ego. That's my job when I am doing these shows. So I've got a cat. I'm sorry, everybody. My pets are a little needy. I've been away from home a lot this week. But let's just go ahead and get started once my cat stops tap dancing on me. I apologize. It's really been a wild day. Can you tell us how you got started in acting?
Well, I started back in college. God, that was 40-something years ago.
We won't tell anybody.
See, I'm telling my age. And then, I'm 62. So when I was 50 years old, I was in the sales business and been in sales all my life, one way or the other. And I got tired of the backstabbing, nickel and diamond.
Amen.
On April the 15th, 12 years ago, 12 years ago, this April the 15th. Anyways, I quit work. I just walked in and told them I'm out, gone. So I left. My daughter was turning 15. Well, she was 15. She was turning 16 in August. So I raised her by myself since she was a year old. And we used to have these little mini vacations. I said, well, heck, we're going to spend the summer traveling when she gets out of school, which we did for 2 months. Traveled all over the United States, did a lot of things together. So August the 5th, on her birthday, she looked at me. She goes, Dad, I'm tired of you walking around with your nose up my butt. You need to get a job. I said, well, who's going to hire a 50-year-old man? Nobody wants to. She said, well, why don't you be an actor? Because I grew up watching you do local plays and said, you're pretty good at it. And I said, well, let me think about it. So a friend of a friend of a friend got me into my first show as a background extra. And that was on Left Behind with Nicolas Cage. It was being filmed in Baton Rouge. And one thing led to another. I just went to see what it was like to be behind scenes and on set. Talked to the right people, started taking lessons from very, very well-known character actors, and each one of them had been in the business 35 plus years. And they're all good friends, mentors of mine to this day. I highly respect them. I could call the names. You probably won't recognize the names, but you've seen them in everything across the board over the years.
If you want to give them recognition, go for it.
Well, you have Lord, now I'm sitting here. Gary Grubbs, he started back the Wonderful World of Disney. So he's been in everything and still acts. And he's a writer, producer, and he spent 30 something years in Los Angeles. And so he was my first one. So Gary Grubbs, he's out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, moved back. So he teaches lessons in Gulfport, Mississippi, and Mobile, Alabama. Then you have Jim Gleason. Jim teaches the art of auditions. He's in the New Orleans area. And so Jim has been in everything, that you can think of. And he still works. He's a working actor to this day. Then you have Jeremy London. I don't know if you know that name.
I recognize that name from growing up.
Jeremy he was in Party of Five, and he's been Dazed and Confused. He's been in bukus of stuff over the years. Yeah. He's a good friend of mine, and he still teaches. He does mostly online now.
Yeah.
And then you have Lance Nichols, who is in New Orleans. He's been in and out of everything for 35, 40 years. A great actor, great man, and a great teacher. So that's just to name a few right there.
That's amazing to have, first off, that support system. And as somebody who grew up a daddy's girl, I love that it was your daughter and you were there for her. Too many people talk about deadbeat dads, and you and many other dads that I know break that stereotype. So,
I actually used to act in my younger days. I wanted to be an actor. Country music singer, songwriter before you ever heard who Garth Brooks was. So anyways, long story short, I wrote a song when my daughter was born called Daddy's Girl. And it nearly got on Garth Brooks' last album back in 2002, I think it was, or 2001. So he loved it, but it just never did make the album.
Well, that's his loss. I haven't heard it, but his loss.
Well,
I'm going to bring in real quick one more face for this episode. This is our fearless leader for comic books for kids.
Listen, I look at the cat, my blood pressure went down to 3/1. Okay.
This is Hermes.
Creek, you're awesome. You're wearing my favorite Captain Kirk gold shirt that he always wore on the important missions.
Well, I wore it just for you, sir.
You look great, man. You're looking good. And I'm, I want to hear the song. I want to hear the words, if not the song. I mean, I think what you've done is amazing. And, it deserves, if you were that close to Garth Brooks, that's an incredible compliment to your skills and the heartfelt intent that you wrote it with. So hopefully you can share it sometime.
I will do that. I will share it to you.
We'll keep y'all in touch. Maybe we can make a little more of this than just one screen interaction.
Listen, I had my hour last time. I'm going to be quiet. We got Creek on here, and he's the man. So I'm floored and honored to have you, sir, and thank you for your participation.
Well, it's my honor.
We'll keep you on here though, Mark. You hang out with us because
I'm hanging.
I think it'd be great. First off, I'm honored to get to be a part of this with being friends with Kelly and being able to make connections to get all of these people together. But Creek, there's one just because it cracks me up, but it is amazing. How does it feel to be a Halloween yard decoration animatronic with your haunted mansion Mariner ghost?
Well, I'm just waiting on the
residual check.
Shorts. It has my picture on it. So, anyways, but no, it feels good. It was kind of a surprise to me when back in the summer when I found out that I did have my Mariner ghost yard.
Wait, so for those of us unwashed, forgive me, I'd love to hear the backstory on this.
let me see if I'll find a picture and I'll put it up so we can see it. But I'm gonna let Creek talk about it.
Well, actually, when I was the Mariner Ghost in the Haunted Mansion, the new Disney Haunted Mansion that came out,
which is really a fun movie, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. Well, anyways, Lowe's ended up, I reckon they got the license to all the Haunted Mansion stuff. So they had a lot of big yard decorations. And so Lowe's came out with one, and it's, what's the word? It's animated. So it moves, eyes, lights up. It has us, behind the wheel and so forth. So, and it's about 6 foot tall, and it's as ugly as I am. So, what can I say?
What, Creek? If you ever have to be on a meeting like this, but not like this one, okay? This one's cool, but you have to be on a Zoom call that you don't want to be on. You just put that right there.
I kind of love that idea, but I'm digging it. I have.
Or you're driving in those carpool lanes, where you have to have two people.
Right. I'll remember that.
Well, if y'all ever go to
it comes in about 50 pieces that I have to, and I carry to my Comic-Cons and set it up in front of my table. So
it's so cool.
And it takes about 25 minutes to set up and about 25 minutes to break down.
I'm trying to hunt down. I have some pictures of us in front of it. Here we go. Let me save it so I can move it over to StreamYard. This thing is so cool. I mean, I'm a full-on nerd for it. It's so awesome. If I can get my thing to save, come on.
At the Comic-Cons, they get more attention than I do.
They're not realizing they're still just giving you attention because it is you. Let me see if I can get this to myself. We're going to see it. But remember, people in the chat, if you have questions for Creek, please feel free to ask them. As long as we keep it, family friendly. But we're trying to keep it family friendly here. But at the same time, we are talking with a man that does horror movies.
So Creek, you walk away. Your daughter's 15. You walk away. You are unemployed. What's the first? Where did the thought come? Oh, I'm going to go be an actor and do horror movies. I mean, how did the transition happen?
Actually, my daughter gave me the idea because on her 16th birthday, she looked at me. She goes, "Daddy, I'm tired of you walking around with your nose up my butt. You need to get a job." Now, she was 16 going into the 10th grade. One thing led to another. We knew somebody. Well, let me go back. My daughter had modeled when she was younger, beautiful girl. And anyways, she had a chance to be on a little sitcom that was going to be filmed in New Orleans, but decided to stay in school and not do it because she wanted to be a doctor. Now, I will say she ended up being a nurse. Now she's in nurse practitioner school after about 6 years of being a nurse. So I'm very proud of her. So she's the one who suggested me being an actor. We knew somebody that helped her, and then they helped me, and I ended up just doing a couple of background deals. And I'm the type, I don't want to be down here, and I'm not putting down background extras. But, if I'm going to be playing football, I want to be on a big NFL team playing the quarterback. If I'm going to be an actor, I want to be out here. If I'm going to be playing music, I want to be playing stadiums instead of sitting in somebody's kitchen, playing the guitar, which is fun also. But it took me about 2 or 3 years of taking lessons, meeting the right people, being in the right place at the right time. And I will say this, God has blessed me, and because I've done a lot more in 12 years than a lot of people in Hollywood's done in 30 years. So I've been blessed.
What was the one that surprised you?
The one that surprised me was, I reckon, the Haunted Mansion. And I will say that I knew I was going to be filming over the course of about 2 months. and be on set for 9 different times. And I knew what I was going to get paid per day. But when I crossed over the Georgia line, my agent called me and she goes, "Hey, where you at?" I said, "I'm just pulling over, or I'm just crossed the Georgia line." She goes, "Pull over. I got to talk to you." I said, "We can talk now. I'm going down the road." She goes, "No, pull over." So I found an exit, pulled over, and she goes, "Are you stopped?" I go, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "Well, they just sent me a big contract for you with Disney, and it's about 55 pages, and here's the amount you're going to make." And I'm going, "What?" So, luckily, I had stopped at that time. Because
when the mouse comes knocking, you better be ready to take it.
So it wasn't, I didn't get paid the daily rate. I got paid a big contract rate through Disney. And so that's this is the biggest movie I've ever been in, the biggest role. And I'm going to brag on myself. I got to work with all the stars and up close and personal with them. And on the call sheet, I was number 10. So
good. Wow.
I was not, I mean, that was a big surprise there.
Oh, I found the picture. So unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with me and our friend Hunter in the picture as well. But here is the Mariner.
For that picture.
Yes, sir. That was at Corinth, Mississippi, just a few months ago. Yeah. So we're not kidding when we say that this thing is huge. It is life size.
Freaking cool.
So, he forever has bragging rights that he is a Halloween decoration, which I think is
awesome.
As a cosplayer and a lover of Halloween, I would love to be able to say I'm a Halloween decoration.
It was surprising.
But I think it's so cool. And now you get to take it with you and people can see it. And, because sometimes you get buried behind makeup and costumes and stuff. So people might go, "How do I know you?" They look at that and they go, "That's how I know you."
I get that all the time.
I feel that as a cosplayer, people look at me and go, "Where do I know you from?" And I'll go, "All right, do you shop at Target? Because that's where I work." And they're like, "Not really." I'm like, "Do you go to conventions?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's where you know me from."
Well, I was coming out of a restaurant in Birmingham year and a half, 2 years ago. And I'm talking about this 2 couples. I'm coming out, they're coming in. And these men, young men, look like they could have played or they were NFL football players. I mean, we're talking about big old guys. So I'm walking in and a guy grabbed me by my arm and he turned me around. He goes, "Hey, you look like you're on TV." And all I could do was going, "Yeah, I get told that all the time," and just kept walking. So, I get that from time to time.
I hear you, like somebody grabs you from the arm. I'm like, "I'm from Memphis." Our automatic reaction is to go.
Well, these dudes, I was looking up at both of them, and I wasn't going to do that. I've been known to do that in my younger days.
I've got little dog syndrome. I've got little dog syndrome. I think I can fight the big football players.
So Creek, you know this, and I'm sorry that I don't. But in addition to being in the movie, is there also the animatronic of you actually in Disneyland or Disney World? I mean,
well, I don't know yet, but I believe, or I have been told in Disneyland, they have put when Lakeith Stanfield first walks into the Haunted Mansion in the movie, he starts looking and the first portrait he sees is me. So they painted my face behind the wheel like in a big storm on the ocean. So I've heard that they put my portrait up in Disneyland in the Haunted Mansion.
At the end of April, I will report back to you because I'm going to California with some friends and my brother and his wife, and we're Haunted Mansion fans. So I will have to let you know if you're actually hanging in Disneyland.
Well, that sounds good.
Take a picture, be like, "Hey, that's my friend."
Say that again. Say that again.
"You're my friend."
but you went, hey, that's my friend. You had that Southern twang right in there.
Friend.
That's another thing. Creek and I are down here way in the South. You know, I'm from Memphis and he's down from Mississippi. You know, we're just little Southern folks around here.
You know, you can friend is like a 4-syllable word when you're in the South, and that's okay.
That's good.
That's good.
Oh, we have some questions over here in our chat for you. Okay, I think Kelly's controlling chats for me. Here we go. I really should be wearing my glasses. So this is from the Phoenix Sisters. They said, so as someone who is in scary movies, is there anything that scares you?
Women.
I tell men should fear us all. It's fine.
That's it. Women scare me.
We should.
Other than that, no, nothing scares me.
I thought he was going to say the price of groceries.
The cost of living is kind of scary.
Well, you know, I grew up in the country in the South. I know when that time comes, I can go out and grow my own food, hunt my own food, fish for my own food.
Wow.
Right now, I can still afford it. Not good, but I can still afford it. So, you know, I can eat. So the price of groceries doesn't bother me right now.
I grew up pretty poor, so I get that. When you're living penny to penny, it's tough. But yeah, let's see. I think there's the other one. Did you get to keep any of the props from any of the projects you've made?
There's been a few projects. The independent projects, they've let me keep some props for clothing, you know, wardrobe, but for the Haunted Mansion, nope, they wouldn't let me.
Disney's like, no. You can't have it. So the mouse is going to keep every penny that the mouse can get, but the fact that you got to be in a Disney movie, I mean, a lot of the last several generations grew up on Disney, so that's kind of a dream for some of us. Like, even kids want to be actors, like, we want to be in Disney.
On me, they did a lot of CGI on me. So, you know, you just catch me quickly in the shots. Anything to do with water throughout the whole movie, that is me.
Wow.
I see. I have a huge fear of water, so you're already conquering that fear right there by being in that.
How long was the shoot, Creek? I mean, how long were you there?
It was supposed to have been for 3 months, but it ended up being 4 months because Lakeith Stanfield fell off a stage and broke his foot, and Danny DeVito got COVID, so they had to prolong it. Actually, the director, Justin Seaman, he was getting married, and he had to prolong his marriage for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Until he got married. To
Wow.
go on a honeymoon. So, you know, there was some difficulties, and they paid me to sit on my tail the days I didn't work in Atlanta or New Orleans, and because we filmed in both places, and I had to just stay close to the set in case they needed me, just like that.
I mean, there's worse places than New Orleans to be stuck for a while.
I know. I had a good time.
What did your daughter say when she heard you were going to be in a Disney movie?
Well, I think that she was proud of me.
Should be.
I think it feels like there's a mutual pride for what you've done and for what she's done from each of you for each other. And so that's a good relationship that, once again, let me remind you, there are good dads in the world, y'all. Quit thinking every dad is a deadbeat.
Well, she's my biggest supporter and my biggest fan. I will say that. And so I'm with her also. That
is amazing. Because, you know, if your family can't support you, then it feels like I don't know. It doesn't feel like you're doing something with a purpose. Because to me, family is everything. And so to have them support what you're doing is like a big deal.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We've got another question. And this is from my big sister. And she said, what would be your dream character to play in any movie remake?
Any movie remake. All right, here it goes. It would have to be, what would it be? It'd be a John Wayne remake. Then Jeff Bridges did it, and they played Rooster Cogburn in True Grit. So if I could be number 3 on that list, that would be my dream.
I could see you in the True Grit role. My dad was a big John Wayne fan. We grew up on all of those Westerns and everything. I could see it. You could definitely pull off that kind of role. I love it. And we are currently at $239 in our donations, and we're only 2 hours in to our whole weekend. Not even 2 hours yet. We just started.
Amazing. Come on, somebody. We need to make it 240. We don't end on 239. Okay, someone.
We don't like uneven numbers. But we're almost at the halfway mark. So if you're just joining us, we are raising money for comic books for kids. You'll be here all weekend. There's a link on the ticker at the bottom of the screen, and we are talking with the amazingly kind and sweet and talented actor Creek Wilson. And yes, I'm going to keep throwing adjectives at you. That's what I'm here for.
Creek, where's home for you?
I live in Jasper, Alabama right now. Now, Jasper, Alabama, I'll give you a little bit of history. All right, you're old enough. You remember the Andy Griffith Show?
I do.
Do you remember?
I grew up on Andy Griffith.
Do you remember the character that used to go around going, Judy, Judy, Judy?
Yes.
That was Goober.
Right.
George Lindsay.
Jim Neighbors.
No, that was Jim Neighbors played Gomer.
That's right.
George Lindsay played Goober.
Yeah.
So him and my mom and dad graduated high school together. Now, a little fun fact, 1946, February the 13th, him and my dad got in a fight over my mother. My dad won, went out on their first date, Valentine's night. In August, mom and dad got married. So just think about it. I could have been Goober Jr. or, little Goober or whatever, growing up. But I knew George. I knew his son, George. So, but he was a cool dude. And he passed away a couple of years ago. But George Lindsay was a good family friend. Remember Alice? Remember Polly Holiday? She'd go kissing my grits.
Yes.
And I forgot what character she played, but her name was Polly Holiday. Then you have Michael Rooker, if you know that name.
Sure do.
He's from Jasper.
Oh, wow.
So we've got some talent coming out of this town.
You basically spent your whole life in and out of the whole acting scene and just didn't know you were going to be an actor at one point.
Absolutely. I think, I spent 40 years in sales, and that's what got me to be an actor, because you have to be an actor when you're selling products. You
got to put on the customer service voice.
Absolutely.
I have a manager voice, and then I just walked behind a wall and I want to scream manager voice.
Absolutely.
Wow, look at that.
Misty said her character was named Flo.
Flo, yeah. That's it. There you go.
My sister and I, we grew up watching all that stuff with our dad, our grandmother. She was a big Andy Griffith, and then when he went and did Matlock later on. So that was us growing up. We all just reminisce about our childhoods forever. And
asking me about where I'm at now, Jasper. This is where I was born. I moved away at 19. And I spent most of my 30-something years down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and the New Orleans area. So I consider myself based out of New Orleans. I'm just here in Jasper. I moved up here because my mother, who's 95 now, just to be kind of closer to her and help her or help my sister with her. And being out of town, it's not like I'm in Jasper all the time anyways.
Well, on top of being an actor, Creek also is a one-man show of repair work. He does that as well on top of being an actor, and doing conventions and doing things like this. So you don't stop.
No, I stay busy.
But I mean, that's the key to it, to keep going.
Absolutely. I figure if I stop, that's when I'm going to die.
I worked with a man that was all he did the whole time he worked at Target for almost 30 years was push carts. And that was because he was retired. He was 89 years old when he retired from there.
Good for him.
I mean, you know, you got to keep going. That's the good, the bad, the ugly. You got to keep going. If you don't, you might as well give up.
Working for other people and doing the remodeling, that keeps me humble and keeps me grounded and so forth.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, because too many people think that even people that just do small stuff in Hollywood all have big egos, and not everybody is like that. You've got the humble people that do good outside of just entertaining people.
Absolutely.
Do you have any other stories you want to share with us from sets, anything, just any, or convention stories? I know you probably get some crazy ones at conventions.
Oh, Lord. Last year, I'll tell you this. All right. Last year at the Mississippi Anime Fest in Jackson, Mississippi, my daughter and son-in-law was helping me behind my booth, you know, collecting money and taking pictures and so forth. Well, this girl, she was a young girl. She was kind of round. She was and I'm trying to keep this family friendly. So my daughter sitting next to me, she came up and raised her top up for me to sign her chest. And my daughter was like, oh my God. And, you know, her eyes got big. That's a funny story.
She's probably like, that's not what I ever expect to see my dad do, but here we are.
Absolutely.
That's, you know, there's always that one thing. Parents are going to embarrass their kids even if they didn't set out to embarrass them.
Yeah, and yes, I signed her chest. Well,
you know, if she paid her money and she wasn't doing anything inappropriate, I've seen worse at cons.
Well, I have to. So, but that's my funny story, my weird story. You know, I've had some crazy ones, but that's the craziest one.
That's, I don't know. It's just so funny that it was your daughter there with you at the time.
But two of the most touching ones happened on the same day. And I was down in South Georgia about 4 or 5 months ago, and they planned it wrong. So you've been to those cons that nobody shows up to.
Oh yeah.
Well, they had us spread out in different buildings because it was like a homecoming for the town. So anyways, we're up there and everybody's sitting there twiddling their thumbs. Nobody's coming in. But this lady came in, young lady. She was in her 30s. She had MS. She was on a walker. And she walked in and she goes, I traveled an hour and a half just to see you. She was a big Haunted Mansion fan. So she came and, you know, got an autograph, got pictures, and got some stuff from me, which I gave her half of it because, you know, no one's ever told me.
You were what they traveled for.
You know, and then, you know, having the condition she had. Yeah. So that meant a lot. And on the same day, there was a man and woman and about a 16-year-old kid walked up, and he was autistic and he was hiding behind his dad, and he wouldn't come up to me, and his dad go, all right, go on. And me, I say stuff I don't even think about saying. So I said, boy, get your butt over here right now. And he just kind of perked up and walked over, got a picture, got an autograph and everything. And his dad walked up, and his dad had tears in his eyes. And I'm going, you know, thinking to myself, what's going on? Come to find out, the kid played Red Dead Redemption 2, knew my voice. Then he started telling me all of my lines in Red Dead Redemption.
Beautiful.
I had already forgotten.
Beautiful.
So, those two happened in one day. So it was like, I didn't, at that con, we didn't sell anything or do anything, you know, hardly nobody, you know, we go to make money. I'm not going to lie and to meet our family. Yeah. But that right there, for the rest rest of the time, those two in one day, that is more than money can give me.
You know, that kind of ties into our whole what Mark's group does with the comic books for kids, you know, sending these to children in hospitals, and, you know, they send them even to the military. These things, they reach out, and you think it's not a big deal, but you touch that one kid, like, because I do, you know, cosplay volunteer work, and you say it's so cliche, but that one time that kid does that recognizes you, I'm like, I'm always the Grinch. My heart grows 3 sizes because of it, because they don't see, they see the character, or, you know, for you, he heard your voice and he's like, I've played that game.
Right.
It means so much more than, yeah, we, like you said, we go, when we set up a table, we want to make our money. We definitely, we're still working, but to have an interaction like that, it impacts you. And
when you're in pop culture, whatever it is, when you're in the moment, you don't recognize the downstream impact that you could have years later, or how you will impact others. Creek, the Red Dead Redemption 2 story is phenomenal. Your voice resonated with that child, and when he heard your voice, you weren't Creek Wilson at that table. You were that character in that game that he immediately recognized and wanted to be a part of that. I mean, that's what's so incredibly touching about.
Well, he touched my heart. Both of them did that day.
You know, and to have somebody go, I drove an hour and a half to meet you. They didn't go to the con and you just happened to be there. You were the reason they drove that distance. I mean, that is the biggest compliment you can receive from a fan. You know, yeah, you can have all these people that are like, oh, I loved you in this, I loved you in that, but you're the reason I drove. And, you know, with MS, that's not going to be a comfortable ride for an hour and a half.
No.
So,
you know, and I don't know if somebody brought her. I know she could barely walk when she walked up to me.
But I can bet that car ride was uncomfortable to have to sit there for that long. But she did it because she wanted to meet you. And that has to be one of those things where you go, okay, I made the right decision in my life. To walk away.
That boy will never forget it. Ever.
Yeah. You walked away from the known into the unknown going, I'm not going to do this sales job anymore, and not know what you were going to do at the moment. True. And now here you are 12 years later getting to tell those stories.
It's incredible. Yeah.
That is amazing. I literally kind of have goosebumps on me right now for those.
So Andrea Creek, I apologize. I actually do have to run. But I wanted to say, Creek, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your stories and helping to support what we do. When I saw your name was on the agenda, it was like, oh.
Well, anytime y'all would like for me to be a part of anything, my heart, myself, I'm out there with y'all.
Thank you very much, Andrea.
Yes.
Welcome to the club, girl.
Hey, I didn't get to do as much with y'all last year. I only got to do the cosplay cafe and do a little admin, but this year I'm doing you some interviews. And I said, I walked up to Creek at a convention and I said, we're doing this fundraiser. Would you like to be a part of it? And he says, when is it? So. Well,
listen, thank you guys. I'm going to take off. Creek, appreciate you. Andrea, thank you so much. I'll be popping on.
Thank you for your organization. So
over the next couple of days. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you again for the comic books for kids. We're happy to work for you.
Take care, guys.
All right. Oh, now we're all in a very emotional moment here. Like, it's like when we're hitting the down slope, so we're like, okay, we can be a little emotional right now.
Well, I
won't cried a whole lot.
While we're at this, let me tell you my favorite story of who I have ever worked with.
Let's go for it.
Haunted Mansion, Danny DeVito.
I would love to meet Danny DeVito. He seems fun.
Oh, he is. Everybody told me what a great guy he was. I knew I was going to meet him in the makeup trailer because he was coming off set and I was going on set. So I left my phone in my trailer, you know, because I didn't want to walk in and go, hey, can I get a picture with you? You know, this way and this way. So we walk in and I met him, and he's sitting up in the makeup chair getting his makeup off, and I'm having to squat down. So anyways, he's saying, well, where are you from? I said, well, Jasper, Alabama. Well, where's that? It's not Hollywood. I go, it's not. I said, it's about 2.5 hours west of here, other side of Birmingham. This was in Atlanta. So anyways, we chit-chatted for about 5 or 10 minutes and, you know, just carried on a conversation like we're talking now. And finally he turned around. He said, hey, you got one of those. And I remember how he said it. You got one of those thingamajiggy phones that lets you take pictures of yourself? I said, yes, sir, I do. But I left mine in the trailer because I didn't want to walk in here and act like a 10-year-old fanboy and go, hey, can I get a picture with you? And he goes, no. And he told his assistant to get a picture with me with his phone and send it to my phone. Well, I'd already told him that my mom had been a big fan from Taxi days.
I love Taxi.
You know, always loved some Danny DeVito. So he told me, he said, now take this picture and you go home and show it to your mama and you tell her I said hello. So Mom, this was 4 years ago. We actually filmed it.
Yeah.
So Mom would have been about 91. So she's sitting in a recliner. I hadn't seen her in about a month and a half. I come in, I said, Mom, this man right here told me to tell you hello. Danny DeVito. Well, tears. My mama was an alpha female, full-blooded, red-headed woman, temper to match, you know.
Sounds like my mom, except the red hair.
So, but tears come out of her eyes, you know. So she told everybody her friend Danny DeVito told her hello. So about a month later, I'm back on set and I'm working with Danny, and I walked up to Danny. I said, Danny, you remember that picture you wanted to take with me, take home to show my mom and tell her you said hello? Yeah. I said, well, I have never seen my mom cry. I said, but tears come into her eyes. And he just took my hand. He goes, well, God bless her, you know, like that. So that's my favorite story of all the A-list actors that I have worked with. And I've worked with Academy Award winning actors.
Yeah.
And sat around, you know, in our trailers or just sat backstage or while we ate lunch or dinner and talked to them like we're talking now. And who would have thunk that a kid from Jasper, Alabama would one day be able to say all of that?
That's so cool. Like it you know, they say don't meet your heroes, but it sounds like you got the good chance with the hero this time. Danny DeVito, I've always heard he's a really nice guy, so it's good to hear that there are positive stories to back that up.
Everybody I've worked with has been nice. And, you know, one of my good friends is Scott Enos, who is the voice of Scooby-Doo. So, you know, and he's a great guy. So he's the one who's kind of got me into doing the Comic-Cons, and he's a mentor also and a good friend.
You know, and in the last year, you and I have seen each other at a bunch of cons, and we've developed a little convention family.
True.
You know, normally, but they're on a hiatus, the Ice Cream Queens usually do this fundraiser with us. So, you know, DL and Lauren and their husbands and their crazy kooky that goes on. And Jonathan McDaniel, who's one of the sweetest people on the planet.
Yeah.
They don't really make them much nicer than all of those people.
You're absolutely right.
But Jonathan is one of those. He's on another level of kindness, and I don't think he can be mean to anybody. Though I fear for anyone that does push him someday, because you know that's usually the ones.
Absolutely, but he's a great guy.
He is, and I could list off. You know, I'm like to me. I love, you know, hearing celebrity stories, but at the same time, just the everyday people that make your life good like that. You know, these people that are out there just doing their thing, you know, Jonathan being an artist and, you know, all that kind of just making this con community that also does help welcome the guests like you to it. Because, you know, some of them, I think people put them on too high a pedestal and they can't talk to them unless they're up there to get an autograph or to take a picture. But y'all are people. The guests are people too. And my mom does that. We'll go to conventions and, you know, she was chatting up Chris Claremont, who wrote the Dark Phoenix saga for the X-Men. You know, I'm over here stars in my eyes, and my mom's talking to him like they went to high school together. I was like, Mom, you know who that is? She goes, I know who that is. He's a person.
Absolutely. That's all we are.
You know, and I think that's a Southern thing too, though. Southern moms have never met a stranger. Never met a stranger.
Now, let me just go back and say one thing. We as actors, I don't consider myself a movie star, but I put on my britches just like all the movie stars. I hold them out and I jump right on into them and pull them up.
But, you know, I love that
you were supposed to laugh on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's serious though. You're like, no, we're the same kind of people. We're people, unless they're alien pod people that we don't know about. I mean, who knows? You might be in that movie next. Who knows? Aliens have taken over. I mean, there's all the conspiracy theories about aliens in Hollywood, but you know,
True.
The weird people. But you know, it's great because you do movies, you do TV, and then you know you went and did like your Christmas Carol that you did.
Right.
It was like a live reading.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have been there for that.
Oh, that was fun. It was an honor. I lived in Hattiesburg for 28 years, and it was kind of like my giving back. And we were helping the food pantry for kids for Christmas, kids that didn't have any food. So when they asked me, and that's where I did a lot of my my plays with local theater. And when they called and asked me about being Scrooge in that and reading the part, I couldn't turn it down.
That's awesome. And see, they said Phoenix Sisters asked, how do you prep for your roles?
Well, it all depends on the character, and half the time it doesn't work out the way I had prepped for them, but I like to think about what my character is going to look like. Well, you know, from the clothes to the tight beard, whether it's a Fu Manchu mustache, you know, full beard, goatee, clean shaven, and you get to set, and then they have a different idea of what it is. But that's how I start. Is I like to be able to feel in my skin what the character is going to be.
Get to go from the outside in.
Yes.
That's cool. I guess cosplayers are kind of like that too. We put on the costume and then we become the character.
All right. You don't have your glasses on, but I see another question.
I don't. I should have them on, but you know, here we are. What projects do you have coming up next? Anything you can talk about?
Well, we are shooting a series in Birmingham called Broken Ashler. And I can talk about this. We're having the premiere tomorrow night in Birmingham. So it's going to be, they've got 3 seasons already written, and I've got a lead role in it. And then it's about nowadays, modern days, the Freemasonry in the good, the bad, and ugly in Alabama. So we're working on that, and we start probably filming in the spring when it warms up a little bit. And I play a biker in it, bad guy. So I have that, and I've got 2 or 3 others. I've had a big audition for, I can't call the name of the series, but it's on Amazon, and I did a big audition for a role in it today, as a matter of fact.
So y'all cross your fingers, say your prayers, send your good vibes, whatever you've got, because I'm sitting on knowing what it is, and I am going to be on pins and needles finding out if Creek got this one. So you know, send all your good vibes that he gets this role.
So I'm hoping so. Right now, there's not a lot of projects that's coming up for anybody really because of all the fires in LA. We've had everything going on through the holidays, and you had the snowstorms and hurricanes and everything else. It slowed it down. They say March things are going to start cranking out. So hopefully it'll get better for all of us in the entertainment business.
Well, we're going to hope and pray that it all goes right, that you get those jobs, because we want to see your face in more things. Well, even if they have to CGI over you, like in Haunted Mansion.
Well, I'm looking forward to the year 2025.
It's wild to think, growing up in the 80s and 90s, that, you know, it felt so far away that we were going to get to 2025, and now here we are.
No, I know.
You know, we were told that we were going to have flying cars by now.
Well, they're working on those.
I don't know. Some people can't drive with the wheels on the road. I really don't know if we need to let them behind something that can fly. There's some bad drivers out there. I live in Memphis, so, you know, it's iffy on if we should let the Jetsons become reality or not.
Well, we're getting close to it.
You know, I was hoping by now we would have more robots to take care of things and we could be creative more often. Aubrey said, "Truth, where is my hoverboard?" We all wanted that hover skateboard that Michael J. Fox jumped on in Back to the Future. We all really wanted that thing back in the day. But so we got just a few more minutes. We've already almost blown through a whole hour, which is amazing. We've been here for almost an hour.
Wow.
51 minutes already.
10 minutes.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
It does.
Do you have any parting words, parting stories that you would like to give our viewers, and any encouragement? Anything you want to spend the last 6 or 7 minutes talking about?
Well, if you have a dream, start on that dream right when you have it. Don't wait till you're 50 years old to start pursuing it. So that's what I tell my daughter. That's what I tell everybody who asks me about being an actor, but it doesn't matter about what you are going to do in life. If you have a dream, hey, go for it and start on it right then and there, no matter what age you are.
You can restart at any time.
Absolutely.
And like you've got your daughter, it helps to have those people to have your back. And if you don't have somebody in your family that has your back, well, you've been adopted now. You're part of our family. Well, I enjoy being the cheerleader for other people. That's my love language, is to support other people.
You have to support other people.
You know, and if you have the right people, they return that support. Mm-hmm. They have your back just as much as you have theirs, and you find that love, and it's really it's almost cliche, but you know, you find the right people and you'll be happy. But
it's very true.
Happiness, especially in this crazy world, is what we need more than anything. A little happiness, a little love. And that's what we're doing with this fundraiser also, is showing our love and support, because I think Comic Books for Kids is a very amazing thing that they do. If you saw the panel before this, you know, he got to talk about what they do, who they send it to. They partner with comic dealers, Funko Pop. You know, they do a lot for these kids that are going through and spending time in hospitals. And I've seen that, you know, being a cosplay volunteer, seeing these kids that, you know, you're their hero because you're dressed up as a hero or a princess, but these kids are going through surgeries and chemos and, you know, all this stuff, but they stay so positive. I wish the adults would learn that.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick. Being in cosplay, have you been to St. Jude's before?
Yes.
See, I would love to.
People in my
do that.
Yeah, some of the people in my volunteer group actually work at St. Jude. Okay. And my oldest nephew's fiance works at St. Jude. So we have St. Jude and Le Bonheur here. You know, when people go, "Oh, Memphis," I'm like, but we have two of the best children's hospitals in the world.
Oh, you do? You do.
And LeBonner right now is taking care of my several-day-old niece because she was born just a little early. She's in the NICU. And one of my best friends, her mom is a NICU nurse, and she took care of my nephew 2 years ago when he was born. She's probably in there with my niece now. Well, and I've never wanted kids, but I love to work with them. I love seeing their faces when they see, you walk in and, I've got my shield back here and they go, can I hold the shield? Or if I've got my hammer for Thor and you hand it to them and they hold it and their eyes just, you go, you're worthy. And they're just like, they're so excited. They're worthy.
Well, I would love to go to St. Jude's one day and see the kids.
I will find our contact and see if I can't put you in touch with them, St. Jude and LeBonner, because I know the LeBonner contact a lot better because I'm usually in contact with her, but that she does all their PR stuff and everything. They love having people come visit, and we have LeBonner now has the big Ryan Seacrest studio in it. It's like dead center of the lobby. You go in and there's a huge TV studio in there now.
Wow, I did not know that.
It was built just in the last 2 years.
Okay.
So I might have to see if I can get you connected and go visit the kids sometime.
I would love that. I'm only 2.5 hours away.
Just a little old trip to Memphis.
Absolutely.
Down here in the home of the blues and the rock and roll and good barbecue.
I was fixing to say the barbecue. I
mean, come on. We have an entire event, a whole month festival dedicated to barbecue down here.
True.
I live for my southernness, my sweet tea, my fried chicken, and my barbecue.
Well,
and good music.
So do I. And I love Memphis.
It's my home. I've lived here my whole life. People might want to knock it, but there's good things here and good people. There are. And that's once again leading back to our amazing convention family. My DL and Lauren of the Ice Cream Queens are both here. We get together and hang out at one of their houses sometimes and just have dinner and just spend time together.
Well, I had my biggest honor I've ever had in Memphis last year. And I was at a con, then I was staying at the Peabody. Mm-hmm. And I get a phone call, and it was the PR lady from the Peabody Hotel. And she goes, hey, would you like to be the duck master? So I got to be the duck master. And I actually followed from a few weeks before Chris Rock. So, that was a big honor for me.
People that don't come to Memphis don't understand to be the duck master is a huge honor down here.
It is.
A lot of Memphians never even get to go near the ducks, much less be the duck master. And our friend Crayley, she is one of my co-hosts on the Cosplay Cafe. She said, I do love helping myself to the sweet tea over in the Starnes house. You might get diabetes from the sweet tea in my household, but you'll enjoy real Southern sweet tea.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it. Southern hospitality through and through down here. And I hope you felt that while you've been on here tonight.
I definitely have. I've enjoyed it, and it's been an honor that you asked me.
And everybody asking questions and being a part of it, that always makes these panels so much better. Yeah, you and I could talk for an hour, but to have other people want to interact with you, I think that really makes it that much more special to have our viewers want to get to know you like I've gotten to know you in the last year. And I tell people, I'm like, I kind of jokingly go, y'all, I have a celebrity friend now, but I'm like, no, I've really made a friend in you in the last year. And you're genuinely a kind-hearted person. You check in on people, ask how they're doing. You remember names of people you've met at the conventions. We could have met once and you could be like, I don't know who she is the next time we met, but you introduced me right to the person that was helping you at your table that day. And I'm like, that made an impact on me, that you remembered me. So I appreciate that, because I was going through some rough spots when we did that. So that meant a lot to me.
Well, that's just the way I was raised. So
once again, Southern hospitality.
Absolutely.
Well, as much as I hate to cut off the Southern hospitality, we only got a few seconds left. So we'll play there'll be an outro video, and then we've got another panel coming up in just a minute that Kelly's back hosting. So thank you again so much, Creek. Thank you, everybody that is donating to the Multiverse fundraiser. We're raising funds and fun. So keep going. We have a deadline all the way till the first week of February. So please donate and make sure we can get these comic books and other things to kids in hospitals and around other places like that. So thank you, everybody. And I'll see y'all in a couple hours at the Cosplay Cafe. Bye-bye.
The Multiverse Fundraiser is partnering with Comic Books for Kids to raise money for their cause. Their mission is to provide comic books to children in hospitals and cancer centers across the United States, Canada, and the UK. We believe in the importance of providing stories that promote hope and bravery to kids who are facing things that are scarier than any supervillain. And we truly believe in this cause. To donate, you can either go to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/The Multiverse Fundraiser or directly to comicbooksforkids.org.
The Multiverse Fundraiser would like to thank our sponsors: Earth Dog Studios, Clobberin Comics, The Art of Brian Rodman, Studio Moonfall, Elusive Comics, and of course, the Phoenix Sisters Entertainment Network for hosting this event. Learn how to support these businesses on the MVFR website.